at the top of my review, chapter 7, subtracting 3-digit numbers.
I don't have one.
I think they forgot about you. Okay, so we are going to do the front and the back of this together. I should say the front and the back. We are going to do the front, and then we're going to do the brain builders together.
Why?
But then the rest I'll have you do on your own. Okay? So let's do some vocabulary review from this unit, chapter I should say. We are going to write the correct word in the blank. So this chapter, we've worked on place value, we've worked on regrouping, and we've worked on subtracting. So if I read number 1, I want you to think, what is the right vocabulary word to go in that blank? To identify the value of the digit 9 in the number 926, 93, and 9, use what you know about. What do you think it is, Brooklyn? What vocabulary word? So look at the 9, the digit the 9. So 926 or 76. 900. Let me try that again. 976, 93, and 9.
9.
What does that digit tell us? What do we know about?
That it can be a 9.
We have 3 choices.
The place value.
The place value. So this 9 tells it's 900. This 9 tells there's 9 tens. This 9 says there's 9 ones. So that digit 9 tells us about the place value. What place is it in? What is its value? Is it value of ones? Is it a value of 10? Or is it a value of 100?
Only 2 people know this? I was raising my hand and I like didn't.
Number 2. You can blink to find the difference. So we're finding the difference. What are we doing, Addie? Subtracting. Good. Whenever we subtract 2 numbers, the answer is always called the difference. So we are finding the difference. So we are subtracting or subtract.
Only gonna watch the video?
No video today. This is a review unit or review page. Number 3. There's only one left, so we should all know this, but it says to take a number apart and write it in a new way. So for example, if we cross off 100 and we borrow it and we move it to the 10, what are we doing, Lewis? What's that word?
Regroup.
We're regrouping that number. Good job. So, right down here, Mrs. Murphy's kind of got cut off down here, but you're going to write regroup. That is the last one. So, when you borrow, you are regrouping that number. Keep going, because I'm going to move that up in about a minute.
My letters keep on going smaller and smaller every time I write.
Okay. While you're waiting for your friends, I want you to go on, and you guys, I know, can do this bottom one. It's a concept check where you need to subtract with the hundreds. I know you guys can do that. So do number 4 and 5, and then turn it to the brain builder page. Yeah, we're going to do the brain builders first, okay?
Oh, I get it.
So do numbers 4 and 5, and then flip it to the brain builders, please.
6.
we'll do the next page, which is like our independent practice in a minute. Tyson, thank you. All right, I'm going to draw a stick to come up here and see if they can help Mrs. Murphy do the brain builders. There are 620 buttons. 200 of them are squares. 100 are ovals. The rest are round. How many buttons are round? So, Raylan. Actually, I said I was going to draw a stick, didn't I? Yeah, sorry. Let's draw a stick. I think I said that. Let's draw a stick and let's see this person how this is working. Figure out how are we going to solve this problem. There's a couple different ways we could do this. So we got to use our brains. That's why it's a brain builder. Corla. All right, Corla. Do you have an idea of how we can solve this, Corla? We know there's 600 buttons and 20. And 200 are square and 100 are oval. So what do you think we can do? Come up here. Do you want to draw a picture or should we subtract it? Should we subtract it? Okay, come up here, Carla. Let's take 620 and we're going to subtract. We know the ovals and the squares. So guys, help Carla. What's 200 plus 100? Ellie, what's 200 plus 100?
It's 300.
Okay, so we're going to take 620 and we're going to subtract what we know, which is the ovals are 100 and the squares are 200. That gives us 300. Can you subtract going down, Carla? Perfect. She did the ones column. 2 minus 0 is 2. And the hundreds column. 320. Is that what everybody else got? Yes. All right. 320.
Miss Murphy.
Around.
John.
Miss Murphy. There's 100.
I didn't see the other 100.
What do you mean?
There's 100 up there. Yeah.
But
But
there's another 100.
there's 100 and 200.
And we.
You put those together, you get 300.
Miss Murphy, I have a question.
I'm sorry that I do.
Oh, you That Miss Murphy.
No, I can't. I'm listening to Brooklyn first.
No.
Okay, so Brooklyn found another way you could do it. But yet you're missing the 100. So you would have to squeeze that 100 in there. So this could be another way to do it, but we haven't really done too much of more than 2 digits. So that's why we added those together to get the 300, because we haven't done much of adding more than 2 digits going down, or 2 numbers, I should say. Okay?
Miss
All right. Yes,
At
Louis?
least I still got it right.
Got it right? Good. Okay. There was a couple ways you could do that one. This one, number 22, says Clara had 359 pennies. She lost some of the pennies. Now she has 266 pennies. How many pennies did Clara lose? All right, so how are we going to figure this out? What do you think? I'll draw a stick. How about Raylan? Lucky you, I picked your stick. Raylan, let's see if you can figure this out. Raylan, what are you going to do?
I had a speech today. It showed it.
No speech on Tuesdays, but
Well, it showed it.
no speech on Tuesdays. No speech tomorrow. Okay? So how many pennies did she start with, Raylan?
300.
Okay, so I would start with that on top. Then she lost some pennies. We don't know how many she lost, but we can take away what she now has to find what she has lost.
That's a long.
So Raylan's going to take 359, and then he's going to take away the 266 pennies.
I need help. I'll help him.
We don't have to place it in our Good. Okay, we do one thing. We cross out those numbers at the top. Like how we're in the five.
This is what I did.
All right, so you need to show me your work. Good job. Raylan took 359 and he took away 266. He subtracted going down. He did the ones. 9 minus 6, he knew that's 3. Then he went 5 minus 6, bigger bottom, better borrow. So I'm going to go over and borrow from that 3. So he crossed that off. It becomes a 200. Then he's going to take that 100 that he borrowed and break it into 10 sticks. So he's got 5 sticks plus 10 more, and that gives us 15. Then we take 15 minus 6, we get the 9. And then 2 minus 0, I'm sorry, 2 minus 2 is 0. So he Clara lost 93 pennies. 93 pennies.
Then that means she had probably like 30 pennies or 3 pennies.
No, this is how many she has now. This is how many she started with. But this is how many she lost.
Miss Murphy, but at least I still got it.
Mrs. Murphy, you messed up on one part. Like this. Remember, you always have to do that.
You can. You don't have to, but you
I
can.
always do it. I'm like,
Okay, the last one. I think this is our last one. Yep, number 23 at the bottom. All right, here's a test practice. You might see this on a test where you have a story problem, and then you have to fill in the right answer, or the answer that you think it is. There are 334 cars in the parking lot on Sunday. On Monday, there are 182 cars. How many more cars were there on Sunday? So I see the words, how many more? So right away I know I need to subtract. So I'm going to take the cars in the parking lot on Sunday and subtract the cars on Monday. So I'm going to draw a stick and I'll see this person can come up and subtract.
can I go down to my room to finish the work?
Elias.
Do it.
Elias, will you come up here?
Yeah. I already know what it is.
Okay, Elias. 334. Can you write that over there? You might
I
have
already
to
have it down.
make sure you're showing Mrs. Murphy your work, because I want to see your work. And you're going to take away 182. Good job, Ellie. So start with the ones. 4 minus 2 is 2. Good job. 3 minus 8. Bigger bottom, better. Borrow.
I'm already done.
Cross off the 2, the 3 and the hundreds. Take one away. Put it down. It's going to become a 2, and then she's going to take it and break it apart into 10 sticks. So it's 13 minus 8. And then 2 minus 1. Good. 152. Now, double check. Ellie, is that answer up there?
Yes.
Yes. If it wasn't up there, then she knows she did something wrong.
Yeah, that's the really easy thing
Yeah.
about that.
Right.
You get it wrong.
All right, guys, Mrs. Nagle has to go, so let's tell her bye, and we'll see her next Tuesday. You too.
Miss Murphy, I'm gonna put my iPad on the floor just in case if the floor comes on.
Maybe just move your desk back if you're so worried about it. Okay, now listen. Your job, whether you go with Mrs. Schaefer's gone, so Mrs. Benegay is here, whether you go with her or not, your job is to complete the independent practice.
Oh, not exactly.
It doesn't say independent practice, but you are going to complete this page 470 on your own. go flip it to the very, very, very back and complete. There's 4 problems back here where you have to reflect. When you get done with that, you hand it in. Then you have a choice to either do deer or freckle, and if your name is on the board, that must get done first. Okay, go ahead and go, Miss Shapers. First group to go. This is Meningay.